Hello, everybody. I made a post on the Facebook. Somebody asked me the question, why I don't feel my twin flame since August deal. What happened to it? And that actually happened to a lot of people. If you pay attention to it, that was the time when the energy shift. If you were the chaser on a twin flame, the energy shift from you being the chaser, you let it go. You allow the universe to do its work, and that emotion it was triggered throughout the planets to the planetary movements into an energy that was actually affecting us. And I was talking about this earlier that this shift happens when Uranus is gonna shift retrograde. And I want to explain it to you that people think that we are not affecting too much through the astrology. Let me remind you that astrology has been around for generations and generations. It surpassed religions, it surpassed the Inquisition, it surpassed anything. It has been always a knowledge out there how affecting us. And this is not something that we should not take it politely. Zavet. Um, People ask me, do I do readings? I do some readings for very specific people. If you're really interested in a reading on it, you can message me. I can try to find a way to help you out. I do a 15 minutes free reading for people, but don't overwhelm me for this because I don't really have time about it. But if you are really under pressure to resolve something, I can help you with that. Simply because you can't deny help. That's how I am. And sometimes it's hard for me, but it is what it is. And the point that I want to tell you, I want to show you on the charts here in a few minutes, is that the shift was once you learn to let it go, it was about universe to focus on the runner to go ahead and begin its journey of realization. And throughout the next months, when Uranus is gonna be retrograde, you will feel that there is gonna be some changes of it, and that disconnect. It is about you to not feel the aggravations, especially right now during the Mercury retrograde, the realizations processes inside of them. I already talked to a few twin flames, and this has been confirmed that it's going on. It's not just about within a inner relationship to what we feel, but it's been confirmed to others. And the part is right now that the runner has to fix its own self. They have to work on it, and they will be receiving some messages. They will be getting a messages. Yes, it's time for you to admit your truth. It's time for you to be true to yourself. You know how you feel about them, as nobody can feel the way you are. Why did you lie? Why did you hide? And these inner voices, they're gonna become louder and louder over the time. I made a quote that you better listen what you've been told before this voice gets so loud inside of you that you won't sleep, you won't breathe, you can't anything what you want to do. If you're a runner and you're watching this video, you will probably will be, oh my god, thanks for making that up, but you have to learn to be your truth. And you as a chaser now, when you let it go, you allow that part of the runner to see themselves. Simply that was triggered by emotions. And what triggers it was the moon. When the moon and Saturn got together, that was the time when the teacher and the emotions triggered the event. Simply because the emotions of that union between the moon and Saturn actually happened at the same time. when Uranus turned retrograde. So Saturn was already retrograde. Saturn was already giving you for the past 6, 7 months while it was in this process of retrograde. It was giving you those teachings. It was learning you everything. Now through that emotion, feelings that Saturn has, to that expression, when the moon comes in, it puts that emotion. You can do it. You as a runner can go ahead and do the right things. You as a chaser, you have to learn to let it go. And now the universe will help you. And that's what the answer is. Why did that happen in August? I want to show you an astrology way how that is. So this is what it was on Monday. That was July 31st. And as you see here, the moon, it's in Scorpio. Mars and the sun, they just got together. It was right after the part, if you remember. That was the new moon at the beginning of Leo. That's when everything began. That was the opening of those energies that was so strong. And if you look at it right now, the map, Uranus, Saturn here, it's retrograde. Let me just zoom in so you guys can see better. Saturn is a retrograde. It's got that little R right here. But if you pay attention here, Uranus is already stopped. And it's on 28 degrees and 31 minutes. So on that position, we were at that position of preparing this part. Venus was opposing Saturn during this process. Mars was joined the Sun. Mercury was in Virgo. He was talking, and that trine here with Mercury was about you to get the message. And the same time, that trine here that was with Uranus, Saturn. Those two, they love to dance. I just talk about the astrology report that it's currently uploading. Those two love to do this dance of teaching you, simply because the universe has to teach you somehow on the secrets. And those two, they will teach you pretty well for the next few years. So let's look at what actually happened. That's July 31st, and we're going to look at August 3rd. So here is August 3rd. It's at 12:46 a.m. The moon, it's very close of joining Saturn. And during this process, like you see this blue line right here, there were these emotions of connecting that emotion, energy of expression. During that stop right here, if you take a look, here it's Jupiter, who is in Libra. He is in 17 degrees. If you take a look at it here, 17 degrees on retrograde mode, that is a Pluto. There is a huge squaring here. So the whole energy was about you to be focused in the Uranus. And those two, when they got united, something funky happens. In the next hour, Uranus actually turns retrograde. And that is the moment of that switch, that the energy from the universe focused from expressing the universe within the material world to expressing everything within the soul world. And here how the map changed. Here it's the next 1 hour. It's been talking about 1 hour after that line. Here it become a much more strong, and the moon right now empower that retrograde, so the emotions in the soul they can be activated. And this is why the reason is that this limitation of Saturn, it's limiting this part, simply because you done your job. Now you as a chaser, you done your understanding, you done your proper way of life, Now it's time the universe to fix its own mess in the soul. And that's why a lot of you will not going to feel your twin flame. You will begin to feel them in the soul. But there's not going to be any more this chasing part, this obsession part, this painful hurts. You're going to be trust to let it go, to stop thinking, and begin to feeling the reality of the soul. And this is what your messages are, because that way you allowing your twin flame, the runner, to begin their realization process. But the realization process is not coming from you. The realization process is coming from Uranus, who's going to represent the universe deep inside of them. And this is the part when the runner will understand they cannot run, they cannot hide, and doesn't matter what you do. This energy about you is going to follow them like a shadow deep inside of them. And doesn't matter what's going on, they will feel you, even if they don't admit. Because the secrets, which Saturn represents, will be pushed out. And now, since Saturn is on direct mode and Uranus is in a retrograde mode, those two actually getting closer within that position. And there will be put more and more pressure on that part. And you, if you are a chaser, let it go. Let Uranus and Saturn do their job to your twin. You're not the one who has to go and chase your twin. Your twin is the one who has to come and admit and confess to you. They are the one they have to call you. They will be the one feeling everything now. They will be the one, and when they're out in a party or they're gonna be out there, they're gonna start feeling isolated. They're not gonna feel in the right place. They're gonna feel you. The runner is gonna feel you, simply because the moon was there when Uranus got a retrograde and provides that emotions. And to all the twin flames out there who are runners, sooner or later you will be confessing to yourself. And when you do that, the parts of the past will come out. They will be triggered. If you got separated by aggravation, you will be united by that aggravation. By you understanding that that aggravation was denial to yourself. If you are separated by silence, you will understand the silence. If you were separated by whatever your thing was, maybe you are a same sex, or your age difference, the age gap, whatever was the reason you pulled it off on it, you will be, as a runner, you will be seeking to those parts. And the truth, actually, first into the runner, it's gonna shock you. It's gonna create this part that yes, he's your or she's your twin flame. When you do this realization, and the second part, that shock that is gonna be inside of you, is gonna be so powerful. And the last things, that shock actually is gonna take you to a journey of realization. And the last part is, well, that truth will change you. And the more you resist, the more hard it will be, because those two, they're gonna put the pressure. They're gonna become then more and more strong. There's gonna be some positions when you're gonna take a break. It's just gonna be like, I don't feel that anymore, and then it's gonna turn it on again, and then it's gonna be break and turn it on again, simply to be overcome the issues that you and your twin have. But now the ball, it's not inside of you as a chaser. Now the ball, if you are chasing, you let it go. That's how that works. If you're a chaser, you have to let it go. If you don't know how to let it go, there is videos that I posted on YouTube. Go watch them. Okay. So now the ball is into the runner. The universe focuses on the runner. To that be the truth. because you already become your truth. You already are the one who, okay, universe, they're all yours. They're your babies. Go take care of them. They're the one that you need to work on it. And sooner or later, the things will happen. And if you keep continue on going, Uranus is going to be retrograde for quite a few months. And we're going to be seeing this dance throughout over Christmas, that part. And we're going to be shifting later on when Saturn actually is going to become a retrograde again. There's going to be again this shift into. But this time is going to be a shift for evolving in the next stage. So thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this helped you to understand what happened, why happened, what's that happened, because when you did the inner work, the results are showing up. So if you don't feel your twin flame, it is because one thing, the universe work on them, beloved.